Shannon, how much do you think firing Vogel would improve the Lakers next season?
Well, I don't think it would have improved them this season because I know, Skip, everybody was talking that at one point in time he was on the chopping block to get gone during the they thought leading up to, you thought he was like beginning of January.
I did.
I thought like, okay, Skip, coming up to the All-Star break, coming out the All-Star break, they're going to move in a different direction. But clearly that's not going to happen. Maybe they just need to hear a different voice. Maybe that's what they need. Skip, they can't get rid of all the players. I mean, normally the coach is the scapegoat. No matter the sport, football, basketball, baseball managers, when teams underperform or they do not meet expectations, somebody has to go. And normally it's the person that oversees that, who's the coach or the manager. And so Frankie's going to, unfortunately, Frank Vogel is going to lose his job because this team was poorly constructed. Frank Vogel has no say in the construction of this team. He has to coach, and he wasn't given the best pieces to fit together in order to make this a successful run. So for me, I mean, the Lakers, Russ was not a success. He's played well over the last week or so, Skip, but everybody knows the Russell Westbrook experiment with the Los Angeles Lakers was a failure. Kyle Kuzma, okay, I'm not disappointed that Kuz is gone. Would I prefer to keep KCP and Caruso?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Would I love to have DeMar DeRozan? Sure, but that's not the direction that they went. And Skip, you keep telling me that LeBron doesn't play defense. Do you know LeBron James has held his opponents to a lower field goal percentage than one Giannis Antetokounmpo while playing the third most minutes in basketball? Did you know that? I know you didn't.
Where'd you find that?
Don't worry about that. You told me, you said, I need you to do your homework. Well, I did my homework.
Did you do it or did somebody else do it for you?
Go see gift. I bring you a gift and you ask, well, who picked out the gift? Are you going to accept the gift or not? Do you want the information I just gave you or not? You want it, okay.
I think it's a gag gift.
There you go. See, you always. I did not go to Spencer's to get you a gift. You remember Spencer's gift shop? Me and my brother used to spend hours in there. But Skip, you know what? If they get a new coach, my first candidate, I want Mark Jackson to get interviewed first. I want Mike Brown to get interviewed second.
I'll buy that.
And I'll take Quin Snyder because it seems like, I don't know, something going on in Utah. They keep blowing these big old leads.
Yeah.
And maybe they need a new voice. But Mark Jackson needs to get an interview. Jeanie, can you do that for me? I need you to come on the podcast too. But can somebody interview Mark Jackson, Skip? I mean, come on now. That man just didn't forget how to coach. I mean, he was the foundation behind the Golden State Warriors.
He
Steph
built
Curry,
the foundation. He did.
Draymond, Steph, Clay, our own Stacks, that were Steven Jackson Stacks.
Yep.
Speak glowingly about the man. Well, damn, that's got to mean something.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
I think he would be a great. Look, I understand that Mike Brown has a history with LeBron. He did win two of his MVPs under Mike Brown.
Yep.
Went to a finals, had a 66-16 record under Mike Brown 1 year. So, Skip, for me, I'm going to say Mark Jackson should be first. Mike Brown should be second. Quin Snyder, if that situation arises. They're talking about Doc Rivers. Hell, Doc got a job. Doc's under contract.
Okay, back to my contention. Vogel should have been gone by January 1. If you really cared about the back half or two-thirds of the season, you just have to just change the voice. Because that's the only thing you can change on the fly. All I know is this team was number one in defensive efficiency a year ago, and that is what Frank Vogel has always hung his hat on, is the defensive end.
Ever since he was in Indy.
All I know is they have now plummeted, and you're surprised they're this high, but they plummeted to 23rd in defensive efficiency. Well, something is wrong because they're not listening to him. He is not connecting. His voice, his strategy is not being heard and absorbed by those ears around him in the sideline huddle or in the locker room. So something needed to change, and it doesn't mean that he's the reason they're losing. He's just the only piece you can change. You can't ship Russ out unless you want to give out that 2027 pick. And obviously, Jeanie said no. And I believe Jeanie was bitter about LeBron pushing so hard for Westbrook. And she finally said, okay, have at it. Just enjoy the ride. See what you can do. And by the way, speaking of Jeanie that you want on your podcast, she has to know that at some point the sights are going to turn toward her, and she's going to be in harm's way here with the social media crowd, the Laker Nation.
Laker Nation, absolutely.
Because they're going to say, wait a second, this is the 7th time in 9 seasons your team, Jeanie, has finished sub 500. 7 in 9? You got the bubble championship. We're going to talk about that in a minute. How does that help LeBron's resume and legacy as a Laker? So you do have that to show. But without that, you got nothing to show, right? 7 out of 9 seasons, sub 500. Well, at some point, the buck has to stop on Jeanie's desk.
Right.
And she knows that because she's now featured as the young daughter coming up in Winning Time on HBO.
Well,
right?
Skip, she was thrust into a very difficult situation because her brother, Mitch Kupchak, gave out some contracts.
Yep.
Luol Deng's contract should have never happened. Timofey Mozgov contract should have never happened. There are a lot of guys' contract that she had to get off the books.
She did.
And Kobe was aging.
She had to get her brother off the books.
Yeah, she definitely had to get him off the book. And Skip, Kobe started to age.
Yep.
Kobe had started to break down, and there was no pieces around him.
Yep.
The thing that she can hang her hat on is that the Lakers are about stars, and I believe that's one of the reasons they went with Russ as opposed to DeMar DeRozan. Russ' name recognition is bigger than DeMar DeRozan.
Hugely.
And if you look at the Lakers, Skip, what did their dad always get? They got Wilt Chamberlain. They went and got Shaq.
Why do you want Magic over Sidney Moncrief? You can make Jerry West making the case. Sidney's just a little better. Well, you could make that case coming out of college, but he didn't have that smile.
Right. He wasn't as charismatic as Magic. You know, you get Shaq, you get LeBron, you get superstars to come to Skip. You in Hollywood. I mean, what about the Rams? What are they doing, Skip? They're like, F them picks. We need Odell. We need Matthew Stafford. Yes. We need Jalen Ramsey. We need Bobby Wagner. That's what we need. We don't need no draft picks because we want people to come. And that's what she understands. In order to get the Denzels to sit courtside and the Jack Nicholson, when he was sitting courtside, when you get all those stars, Skip, they want to see stars. Stars see stars. There's a reason why my coach once told me, say, son, do you know there's a reason why movie stars marry other movie stars? Because the other know what it's like to live that life. So if I like to be entertained, I want to see it at its highest level. LeBron James, the Shaqs, the Kobes, the Magics, they can do that at the highest level. So they'll be able to attract the superstar. The question is, Skip, are they going to want to come play with AD knowing his injury history? Bro, I get that, bro.
Okay. So, quick point of order. Just remember, Kurt Rambis is still sitting up there upstairs. And Kurt Rambis has coached in this league, and Jeanie loves Linda and Kurt Rambis.
He's been terrible at coaching, though.
He's been terrible. But you can't tell me that there's a part of Jeanie. You cannot tell me that there's a part of Jeanie that's saying, go with what you know. Go with what you trust. Kurt, I know Kurt from my days at ESPN.
Right.
I had breakfast with him a couple times. And he has high basketball IQ. Trust me on this. He really knows the game. Now, can he coach it and teach it and explain it to players? I have no idea. Obviously, it hasn't worked before, but I wouldn't put it past her to say, I got to go with what I know, and that is Kurt, because I can trust him and I can communicate with him.
Laker Nation going to lose their minds.
Okay, well, lose your mind on this one because I still believe you are stuck with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, stop talking like that.
Well, you're just stuck. It's $47 million, and nobody's going to take it off your hands. And let me drive this home. For the last time this year, we need to see what we call the almost daily Russell Westbrook turnover blooper reel because he was at it again last night in Phoenix, was he not? He had 6 more. I want to show you, this is what you're up against next year because this will come back to haunt you again. These are the 6 from last night. Russ, take it easy. What is that? Russ, what? Come on, Hank. He's got the worst hands of any point guard I have ever seen in all my years. I've never seen anything like it. Let the music play. Russ, calm down. Whoops, he just ran over his defender. Russ, that's just a bad idea. These are the kind of mistakes that get you yanked in a church league game. Just bad. That's up in the air with no place to go. Not sure what I'm going to do. Bad hands. I can't hold on to the ball. This is funny. It's sadly funny. I've never seen anything like it. And we've done this almost daily through this whole year. That's what you acquired. That was the guy, Russ, that LeBron wanted. And I believe he convinced Jeanie star power. He's averaged a triple-double for the last 5 years. I've had trusted voices around the league tell me, You guys are just waking up to what he's been doing these last 5 years. He's been doing that.
Yes.
But nobody cared because nobody watched that closely. They just look at the box score.
And
what?
Because, Skip, think about it. The OKC, they won championship. Houston, nobody don't know championship. Washington. Now you're under a microscope, Skip, because there's a difference. Matthew Stafford, people like Matthew Stafford. But Matthew Stafford came to the Rams, we looked at him a little different. Let me see if you still that Matthew Stafford in Detroit, or are you a different player? Well, he changed the narrative.
He did.
Russ is the same player, but he's just held to a higher standard, and the Laker Nation will hold you accountable. They don't care nothing about no homeboy. Because they've seen too many winning, Skip. They got 17 championships. They've seen a bunch of them happen right here in L.A. Some at the Forum, some at Staples. So they know good basketball.
They do.
Skip, you can't fool them by being the homie and just throwing the ball away and shooting bricks.
Well, this is just rubbing their noses.
Yes. And then getting upset about it if the media ask you about it. Just own it. Say, bro, I ain't have it. I'm not playing well.
Well, guys, speaking of the media asking questions, they asked Frank Vogel last night if he'd heard the rumors about his impending exit, and he said, indeed he has, and it is not fun, I bet.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.